I'm back with another IPL preview video, and this time it's my old team, Punjab Kings, eagerly awaited by I know a lot of people on Twitter. Really excited to see what I think of the Punjab Kings squad this season and their chances of qualification. So let's get straight into it. This is kind of roughly how I think their team structure will go. As an 11, and then you've got, I think Priyansh Arya will come in probably as an impact, or add the extra batting when they're batting, and they might bring in one of these three pace bowling options when they're bowling. Now look, they've got a pretty much right-handed top eight, and that's another reason why I think RAS slots in quite nicely. He could come in as an opener with Prab Simran and Inglis. Everyone else slots to three. Everyone slides down basically. So you've got those options. I think that's a really nice idea strategically. There's also an option if they do that, then instead of Wadera at 6, you could bring in Siyash Shej, who looks an incredible pace hitter finisher. So he could come in at like that sort of 6-7 role. So they've got bases covered. They've got a lot of tactical flexibility. Probably would prefer one more left-hander, but as we'll see through this, I think that their right-handers, several right-handers in particular, what I call bluff left-handers. So they're right-handers who play the ball turning away from them really well. I'm going to highlight here Josh Inglis, 158 strike rate, 31 balls per dismissal against the ball turning away. Glenn Maxwell, 175 strike rate and 15 balls per dismissal. Maxwell, excellent reverser. Inglis, a very strong offside, hitting through extra cover, and a 360 player as well. So look, there's a couple of right-handers there who are very competent against the ball turning away, which negates my concern slightly for their lack of left-handers. But there's some of their other right-handers are pretty stodgy against the ball turning away for them, strike rate-wise, all under 130. So that it's really important that they've got that role clarity in the group. Who's going to be the ones to take on the spin turning away from the right-hander? Who's going to be the ones who are looking to sit in? I think Shreyas Iyer will probably play that role as captain. We're looking at going back to the sort of strike rates versus balls per dismissal. You can see that this is a strong striking group, most over 140 strike rate. Maxwell considerably higher. Balls per dismissal is okay. It's a bit polarised. Perhaps Simran, Maxwell, out of the top four, probably a touch on the volatile side in terms of hero or zero. Strong boundary hitting group generally. A couple well into the mid-20s in terms of boundary percentage, and a few around that 20 mark, which is very strong. And everyone's hitting at 6, at least 6% of the balls that they face, with Maxwell considerably higher. So he's going to be the fireworks in this team, and the player expected to give them impetus in whether they look to hit big scores or in big chases. Slight issue perhaps with the non-boundary strike rate, and that's another reason why I think maybe Arya could bat up top with Prab Simran, because Inglis is a strong runner between the wickets, and might get a bit negated by perhaps Simran's boundary or bust kind of dynamic. And then the middle order is not superb either in terms of that non-boundary run production. So, and there's a nod perhaps there. Someone asked this in the questions on Twitter about the age of Maxwell and Stoyan. So I don't think that's a major issue in year one of this 3-year cycle, but getting towards the mid to end of the 3-year cycle, it could potentially become more of a problem for PBKs, and it's something that they would be well advised to kind of take into account and be proactive about rather than reactive. As I said earlier, strong pace hitting group, polarised against spin, particularly turning away from the right hander with left arm orthodox or leg spin. That like I say, it's going to be a few players: Inglis, Maxwell, Wadera, as well as the left hander, are going to be really critical against those type of bowlers. Up top, I expect the power play to be pretty volatile for PBKs. We can see that perhaps Simran strikes well, Maxwell strikes well, Inglis is more stable. Shreyas Iyer, I think, has not had great success batting in the power play, so might might be well served again. As I said, if he slots down to 4 with Aya coming in, maybe that has the better entry point for Shreyas Iyer coming in generally at the end or of the power play or start of the middle overs kind of entry point. Middle overs look okay, but I said there's definitely a nod to that spin matchup problem I think that they could have. Death hitting looks strong. They've got Maxwell. They've got Wadera, they've got Stoinis, they've got Shashank, they've got Marco Janssen, even as a lower order. Harpreet Brar can add some value even as a number 9 or potentially even a number 10 with an impact sub, which is crazy batting depth. And then they might well have the impact sub option of Shedge as well, who looks an insane death hitter, an insane pace hitter at the death. From the limited sample size of data that I've got, and I'm really, really excited to see him feature in this Punjab Kings team over the course of the tournament. I'm really, really looking forward to him. He's definitely one of my players to watch. So, how does this translate in terms of the bowling? This is perhaps more of a hurdle for PBKs. You've got an extremely aggressive bowler in Arshdeep who looks to hit Yorkers and bowls high volatility lengths. So one day he goes 4 for 20, the next day he goes one for 50 or something like that. There's a lot of volatility with Arshdeep, but he's an excellent player. I'd love to work with him actually and to talk to him about those lengths and how he can structure up those a little bit better. I think that there would be some real value there for him. Marco Janssen will pair up with him in the power play. Excellent power play operator, as you can see here. 7.2 economy, 19 balls per wicket taker with Arshdeep as well. Back up from Stoinis in the power play. Potentially some off spin from Maxwell against left-handers in the power play, and you might even get a late power play over out of Yuzi Chahal, and Harpreet Brar can bowl power play as well, though albeit I think quite a defensive style. Moving through to the middle overs, you've got great spin options with all 3 spin types covered, with the off spin of Maxwell, the left arm spin of Brar, and the leg spin of Yuzi Chahal. And that for me looks a positive for PBKs in terms of the if they structure up well with the matchups, they strategise well. Not necessarily a given with this Punjab Kings squad over the years, but if they structure up well and have good strategy, they could definitely create some positive matchups for their bowlers. Slight question mark over the pace in the middle overs, so they're going to have to probably go quite spin heavy. I'm fine with that. They could also look to use Kuldeep Sen in the middle overs, who looks a decent option in that phase as well. At the death, they're going to primarily go with Arshdeep and Janssen or Stoinis. Arshdeep, I expect, will bowl 2 death most of the time. Maybe one from Stoinis, one from Janssen, or one from whoever the bowler is who comes in using the impact sub rule. So there's it's okay at the death. It's certainly not as much of a banker as some of the other teams have got. Arshdeep's going to have to bowl really, really well, I think, for this Punjab Kings team to have good death numbers over the comp. How that translates into the bowling distributions, I think it's pretty straightforward. I've explained it already. You've got great flexibility with the spin options through power play middle. Maybe an early death over from Chahal if they're looking to minimise the pace that they bowl at the death. Arshdeep, Janssen, Stoinis capable of bowling all 3 phases. Although I'm not mega sold on Stoinis as a 4-over option at this level, so it'd be interesting to see how they use the impact sub to maybe reduce him to, say, a 2-over bowler in the IPL. Okay, moving on. Why this preferred combo? Well, I think it makes complete sense to me. It has great batting depth, as mentioned, has the ability to bring in Arya as well when batting to give the extra left-hander an open with perhaps Simran. Everyone else sides down a spot. Better entry point for Shreyas Iyer as well, and just allows so much death hitting. Wadera could also move up to 4 if they want a left-hander up the top. If they lose, so for example, Aya opens and he gets out early, they lose that left-hander. Wadera can come in and bat higher, a little bit higher up above Maxwell to give another left-hander, so to keep those right-left combos a little bit longer. So, talking points and Twitter questions. Well, we've got the new coach, Ricky Ponting. Mixed bag, I think, for Ricky Ponting as a coach throughout his coaching career so far. He'll be really, really keen to have a great start to his Punjab Kings career here. He's made some quite pointed comments about this being his team, and certainly the abundance of Australian options in the starting 11 and the bench highlight that as well. I was asked if Marcus Stoinis could open with perhaps Simran Singh. Personally, I don't see how this benefits Punjab Kings at all. I think they've got Josh Inglis, they've got Aya, who can both open with perhaps Simran, and I think Stoinis doesn't need to do that. I don't think there's anything to be gained from opening him when you've got other really good options already, and Stoinis can be used as more of a death hitter. Stoinis or Omazai as that overseas all-rounder is a good debate. Stoinis adds more with a bat, Omazai adds more with a ball. Potentially, Omazai could be useful as a power play bowler, but they've already got Arshdeep, they've already got Jansen, so I look at Omazai probably more as a backup for Jansen rather than a backup for Stoinis. Lack of defensive bowlers except Harpreet Brar was something a couple of people asked, and I definitely take that point. I think that's definitely something to consider. So this is a Punjab Kings bowling group that's pretty volatile. They could run through teams one day and then get smashed the next day. So yeah, there's definitely scope for that to be a concern. The age of Stoinis and Maxwell we've kind of covered already. Don't think it's a major issue in year 1 of the cycle. Is it an issue perhaps in year 3? Yeah, probably. They're going to have to be proactive about that. Inglis or Ferguson for the overseas slot, changing the structure. Yeah, that's a possibility, and that would help in terms of reducing the need for Stoinis to bowl 4 overs as well. But I just think that Inglis is such a good player that you don't really want to have him on the bench. A couple of people also asked about all-rounders in this squad and whether they needed so many with the advent of the impact sub. Look, as long as with all-rounders, as long as they're in the team for a primary skill set, they justify their place with their primary skill set, then I'm absolutely fine with the number of all-rounders. I think Marco Jansen justifies his place with the ball. I think Glenn Maxwell justifies his place with the bat. I think Marcus Stoinis probably justifies his place with the bat as well. So their bowling is almost like the bowling of Maxwell and Stoinis and the batting of Jansen is just an extra benefit. And actually, this allows great tactical flexibility. If you notice that's often a hallmark of the squads that I help construct as well, that we have bowling options in the top 6, allowing great tactical flexibility. So I don't have a problem with the all-rounders purchased by Ricky Ponting here. I think that actually it could be of benefit if they use really, really well. The player in focus for me is Shreyas Iyer. Can he justify the big auction price tag and captain Punjab to the success that they crave and have been long looking for? That's going to be the big question for Punjab Kings supporters and anyone looking at PBKs throughout the season. So yeah, Shreyas Iyer, my player in focus. Strengths of this squad: strong boundary hitting and 6 hitting group, and particularly against pace. And they've got good death hitters as well. They've got good spin variety, 2 strong left-arm pacers, and good domestic batting as backup. I think actually the auction was held so early this year, and I feel that this is a squad probably who looks better now than it did when recruited at auction. So it's aged quite well for them. I think that if you redid the auction today, this squad would sell for more money probably. So they've got good backup is the domestic batters with Priyash Arya and Shedge and also Vishnu Vinod, who I haven't even discussed. Weaknesses: non-boundary run production could be an issue. Lack of left-handers also an issue. And this all transpires to how they might perform against spin-heavy opposition and on non-flat pitches. Is this a squad that could go to Chepauk and bully CSK? I think this could be where they might struggle. On flat pitches against pace bowling heavy opposition, I think this could be a squad that does really, really well. So, look, the conditions are going to be massive. The home venues for Punjab, they're traditionally a team who haven't owned their home venue very, very well, and how they construct a squad to play at their home venues is massive. They certainly will not want stodgy 2-pace slow pitches at home this season with the squad that they've got. They've definitely got some volatile power play batting, a couple of hero or zero options potentially there, and I think they're going to need a little bit more backup pace as well as Marcus Nice. But they have the impact sub to do that. Kuldeep Sen, for example, could do that and then get subbed out if they're bowling first, for example, or come in if they're at halftime if they're batting first. So that's not so much of a concern. But there are some weaknesses here. Can this team do well if the pitches are flat and batter heavy? So batter strong. Then definitely this team could qualify. If the pitches are tricky and opposition teams strategize well against them, they might struggle a little bit more. Definitely a volatile team, a volatile squad in terms of where I think they're going to come. I whisper it quietly, but I think they have a chance of getting into the playoffs. They could sneak into fourth potentially, but then this is a high ceiling, low floor squad. They could just as easily come fourth as eighth or ninth, and I'm excited to see how this squad goes this season under new coach Ricky Ponting. We've got some really exciting domestic batting talent as well, who I'm really, really looking forward to seeing. Priyank Jaya, Suresh Shedge. So yeah, definitely some players to watch. As usual with PBKs, they're going to be pretty entertaining. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please do share it with your friends. I know I've got a lot of PBK subscribers followers on Twitter, so please do share it with them. And please do let me know your thoughts in the comments. It'd be great to hear from you. Take care.